Good evening. So when we have a bar dinner, it doesn't mean there's supposed to be a long line at the bar, but again, we are some lawyers, so it is so wonderful to see so many friends, our second banquet after COVID, to celebrate the wonderful CU Law community. Good evening, my name is Michael Kerrigan. It's my honor to welcome you to the 42nd annual CU Law Alumni Award. I'm a partner at Holland & Hart. I'm a former regent, and I bleed black and gold. And I'm so happy to celebrate this community for this wonderful school that has done so much for all of us. At the beginning of our program, we want to recognize that the University of Colorado sits on land within the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho people's territories, and that of many other Native American communities and nations. And today we acknowledge that 48 tribal nations are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Two housekeeping items. Please place your meal ticket at the top of your plate so the servers know what your choice is. And if you students are invited to fill any empty seats, so if you see seats, please wave them over to you. I want to also thank, at the start, Caitlin McHugh, the Law School Alumni Board Chair-elect and our banquet chair. You'll be hearing a lot from Caitlin tonight, and I'm delighted to serve with her. She's been tremendous. I also want to thank all the other members, current members of the CU Law School Alumni Board. If you're present, please stand and wave. We are a diverse and talented group that gives a lot to support our great CU Law School. And of course, we follow in the footsteps of many past Law Alumni Board members. So if you're a past Alumni Board member, please stand so we can recognize you. And there's been a lot of nights before tonight where many of the attendees have received awards. So if you have received an award from CU Law in the past, please stand so we can give you a round of applause. At the law school, and particularly with the Alumni Board, we are blessed to have very talented staff, and I want to thank them for all their help putting together tonight and all you do. Alyssa Baines, Yesenia Delgado, Robin Munn, Nick Rusky, Lisa Parks, Malika Rakamova, Marissa Zamondo, and Georgette V. Hill, who is fantastic. They all are. We have a number of distinguished guests from the judiciary and elected officials, and if you meet any of those definitions, please stand so we can give you a round of applause. And we have several dignitaries from the University of Colorado here. We have one of my successors, CU Regent Wanda James. Wanda is only the second African-American woman to serve on the Board of Regent, and the third African-American overall in CU history, with the second Congressman Joe Neguse joining us. We also have, we'll be clapping lots for Joe, don't worry. We are pleased also to have CU Chancellor Phil DeStefano is here tonight. Thank you, Phil. I can tell you with all sincerity, he is a huge advocate of the law school. And we also have CU Vice Chancellor of Advancement, Katie Kacharlik. Now, the first door prize, I'm pleased to announce, which is sponsored by my own law firm, Holland & Hart, and it goes to, drum roll, the award goes to Patricia Peterson, class of '79. Please pick up your door prize please pick, on the way out, please get your door prize. Tonight, we are celebrating six amazing award recipients who exemplify the very best of CU Law. The Alumni Board, every year we have so many wonderful nominations and it's hard to pick among them, and we have some amazing awardees tonight. So to start our program, I'm going to invite up Lab Chair Vice-elect and Banquet Chair Caitlin McHugh. Caitlin.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, I'm Kate McHugh. I'm the office managing partner at Lewis Roca for our Colorado offices and a proud member of the class of 2012. As the Law Alumni Banquet Chair, I'm excited to celebrate our 42nd annual Law Alumni Awards with each of you tonight. This is the law school's signature event, and I know for me personally, it's a favorite occasion to gather and reconnect with fellow alumni and colleagues as we recognize and award our honorees. Please join me in recognizing this year's 37 event sponsors. Your ongoing support has enabled us to raise impactful funds for the law school, opening doors for Colorado's best and brightest attorneys, leaders in business, and champions of public service. You can see a list of the platinum, gold, and silver sponsors in the program. And on behalf of myself and our entire community, I tell you, thank you. We're so grateful. Tonight, we are excited to give another door prize. This one is being sponsored by Polsinelli, our platinum sponsor. All right, it is the Honorable Nicole Rodarte, class of 98. Congratulations. All right, well now let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing tonight. When we talk about how these awards work, the Distinguished Achievement Awards are conferred on a rotating basis in 9 categories. Each recognizes alumni that have risen to the top of their profession and made a substantial impact in their area of practice. Nominations for Distinguished Achievement Awards are submitted online throughout the year and reviewed by the Law Alumni Board Nominating Committee. So as you're sitting out there, please know that this is me officially inviting or urging you to please think about who you should nominate for next year's award. Nominations for next year's awards will be accepted through the end of July, so please log on and nominate those incredible lawyers that you know. Without further ado, I'd like to bring up Dean Lolita Buckner-Innes, who will kick off the award presentations. Please join me in giving an award welcome to our outstanding dean.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I am so absolutely thrilled to be here with you tonight. So the first thing I want to do is for all of you to give a round of applause for yourselves because you are all so amazing. This is just tremendous. This is the 42nd annual Colorado Law Alumni Awards celebration. And earlier today, when I was in an administrative meeting, one of the things that we talked about was that we don't necessarily have any established traditions at CU Law, but when we started to think about it, we realized that there are many wonderful things that we've actually been doing for decades. And this is one of them. So what we want to start to do is remind ourselves that we don't need to make up new traditions. We just need to remind ourselves about all the wonderful things that we've already been doing for a long time. I also then want to thank you, Caitlin, for those really wonderful, informative remarks. I want everyone here to know that Michael and Caitlin have been committed to the law school, and their commitment is unwavering. We are so really lucky to have friends like them. As I've said to many of you, as I've met you over the years, honestly, one of the things that impressed me the most when I was interviewing for this job, and by the way, I'm in my second year in this job, it seems like longer, and I mean that in a good way. I really feel embedded in this community. And to tell you the truth, that started before I took the job. I have worked at a lot of law schools for a really long time, as many of you know, and this is the most engaged alumni body that I have ever seen, including at the law school I attended, which will go unnamed for the moment. Many of you were at the set of interviews that I participated in when I came here, and I was so impressed that people were engaged enough and cared enough to come to what were, by the way, days and days of Zoom interviews, and some of you I saw more than once because there were multiple sessions. That told me a lot about the kind of institution this is and about the kind of graduates that you are. I am really grateful to be part of a community like this, and I want to stop, though, before I go any further, and thank once again all of our tremendous donors who have come together to help us to make this event possible. If you take a look at your program, you will see all of them named. However, I want to take a few seconds just to bring some attention to our platinum and our gold sponsors especially. So our platinum sponsors are Holland and Hart and Pulcinelli. Thank you so very much. And our gold sponsors are Armstrong Teasdale, LLP, Business Law Section at the Colorado Bar Association, Chayette and Danzo, LLC, Cheney, Galuzzi, and Howard, LLC. Woohoo! Woo. Gebhardt, Emerson, Mood, Bonanno, LLC, Gibson, Dunn, and Crutcher, LLP, Milgram and Dascom, Moy White, LLP, Otten, Johnson, Robinson, Neff, Raganetti, PC, Sheridan, Ross, and Wellborn, Sullivan, Meck, and Tooley, PC. Thanks to you all, and thanks especially to those sponsors. You know, when I talk about how wonderful our alumni are, I have to say there's an even more special set of our alumni, and that is comprised of the people who are part of the Law Alumni Board, the group that has helped to make this night possible. The planning for this night begins months and months in advance, and when the Law Alumni Board sets out to choose the award winners, I have to tell you, it's got to be one of the hardest jobs that they do because so many of you are tremendous. And I say this with all sincerity, and I say this because this is true for those of you across classes, including people who have recently graduated, people who graduated 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago and more. It is tremendous to see the kind of work that so many of you have done. And honestly, I am proud to be dean at a school where you make it so difficult to choose a prize winner. It is nearly impossible to learn about all of our alumni. As I said, the breadth and depth of what you all have accomplished and of what you have done, whether early, mid-career, or late career, is just tremendous. We are very proud. You represent excellence, innovation, and the bold spirit of public service and private service that is part of the Colorado law tradition. And I know that the outstanding work that you all do is not just for yourselves or your firms, it is also for your communities, and it's also for the world. And I thank you for that, for making a difference. I'm really excited to celebrate tonight's honorees and their extraordinary contributions. We have 6 very special members of our community. I thank each and every one of them for making such a positive impact and for exemplifying our profession broadly, and especially, I think, for exemplifying what Colorado law is about. We are a very, very special institution. Now, with that, I'm going to get us started with our first award. I am grateful to present the Dean's Choice Award. This is the inaugural Brooke Wonicky Outstanding Mentor Award, and it goes to, you ready? You ready? I just want to make sure everybody's paying attention. It goes to Bill Callison for his devotion to the legal practice, mentoring, and commitment to help other lawyers. And we have a wonderful video to show you. We're going to cue that video really soon. There it is.
Honestly, I can think of few people who embody the ideals of a mentor more than Bill. There's something innate in him that not only wants to be a teacher, but he has it in him to really care and connect with people.
I love Bill. He's like nobody else. He is so genuine and real.
In a word, Bill is a good person. He's kind, he's thoughtful, he's respectful. As a law student and a young lawyer, he had a quiet confidence that was unusual for someone of his age and experience.
I'm Bill Callison. I'm an East Coast kid once upon a time that moved to Colorado in 1979, fall of 1979, to go to CU Law School.
Maybe some people have to work to be a mentor, not Bill. That's just who he is and what he is. He builds a story about what you're working on so that you are so engaged, you will do whatever you can to make sure that project is successful.
I don't even know what a mentor is. I think I just show up and I talk with people and I tell stories. I love telling stories. I think the law is stories.
It's not just about him telling you a story. It's really about helping you understand the subject matter and how it relates to what it is that you're doing professionally.
If I had to ask what draws Bill to the affordable housing practice, it's the easiest answer. The people, the experiences, they're so diverse, and the people are so interesting, so engaged, just like he is, and so full of the spirit of life and giving. It's exactly what he is. So I couldn't imagine him anywhere else.
I'm attracted to major areas of what I've done for the last 30 years by the fact that I can use skill that I have to help build a better society.
Let me tell you, one of the best things about what I've seen over Bill's career is that we are practicing together again. And our offices are literally next to each other, they're adjacent. And that is one of the best ways I can think of to conclude my career, is being in practice again with Bill Callison.
Without Bill, I would not be practicing affordable housing. And I owe Bill the passion that I have in affordable housing. And I am so lucky to have him be the first person I met in my legal career and share that passion with me and let me carry that forward.
Bill, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all of your mentorship over the years.
Congratulations, brother. I'm so proud of you.
You embody the spirit of mentorship, and without you, I would never be as fulfilled in my career and my life as I am now.
Wow. Wow. Bill Callison, we are so proud to give you this. Thank you so very much. And there we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let us. I'm going to let you say a few words.
I am going to say a few words after I recover from watching that. But I wrote it down so I can actually figure out what I'm going to say. Thank you. And thank you to the Alumni Board, and thank you to all of you I don't deserve this, but I'll take it. It means a lot to me, and it's sort of a career highlight in some ways, but I don't even know what it means at some levels. I've been pondering since I found out about this thing, what it means to be a mentor, and I haven't come up with an answer. I've written books, maybe I'll write a book about this if I ever figure it out. But I do think that a mentor recognizes that all of us are interconnected, that none of us are independent, and a mentor attempts to act on that resulting sense of kinship and affection. I also want to I met Brooke Wanneke several times. I know that there are mentees of Brooke Wanneke in this room. I did not know Brooke Wanneke, I met her. She was remarkable. She was a brilliant, engaging, thoughtful, kind person who practiced in diverse areas and knew a heck of a lot and was willing to share it and build other people up. So it's really nice to walk in some way in those footsteps. Although I don't know what it means to be a mentor, I do know what it means to be thankful. So indulge me while I offer some thank yous. First of all, I thank Robin Munn and Nick Ruski for putting together that video and the other videos yet to come. It was a pleasure working with you. Second, I thank the law school staff, including especially Georgette Veal, for putting this event together. And I thank the many people who have prepared our meals tonight and are serving them and will be restoring order to this place and to the kitchen and what have you after we leave. Third, when I came to CU Law School, and it was, believe it or not, some 43 years ago, I had no real idea what it means to be a lawyer or what I would do when I finished law school and thereafter. Fact is, I still don't. But I thank my classmates and my professors, especially some people who I would call mentors at CU, and I will name some. Nort Steuben, Cliff Calhoun, Dennis Hines, for allowing me to see part of the way forward, especially through their friendship. And I want to shout out for Mark Lowenstein here also, who was my corporations professor once. But through their friendship after I graduate. Fourth, and I only have 6. Fourth, I was lucky as a young lawyer to have outstanding mentors who carried me forward. I would include Gary Naccarato and John Moy and Ned Giles, who's a dear friend, and Bob Keating and Tony Van Westrum and Alan Sparkman in that list. Some of these are dead and some are living. In my life, I thank you all. Fifth, I thank all the lawyers who have allowed me to partake of their professional and sometimes their personal lives. I'm humbled by you, and I hope I have given back some portion of what I have taken. I particularly thank my colleagues at Holland & Hart. I've witnessed your great firm for many years, and I have many friends there, and I have for a long time, and I'm very happy to have become part of your team. Sixth, and finally, I thank my family, my parents, James and Jan Callison, my grandparents, my in-laws, and most of all, my wife, guide, and true love, Maureen Ann Sullivan Callison, and my 3 wonderful and interesting boys, William Eamon Callison, James Patrick Callison, and Rory Thomas Michael Callison. You might get a little bit of an Irish there. But in my life, I love you all. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and I'll finish up with a toast to you. Sláinte. Thank you. To health.
Thank you so much for those wonderful words, Bill, and thank you for all that you do for the community, for CU Law, and for the world. And now I want to invite Michael Kerrigan back to present 2 of the Distinguished Achievement Awards.
So I want to let you in a little CU secret. You know, you might have heard we have a new football coach. And Phil, I'm sorry that you and Rick George are taking the credit. The real reason we have Coach Prime is Dean Innes. She is prime time for law school deans, Dean Innes. We are so lucky to have her, the energy, the enthusiasm, the charisma, the wisdom. Thank you so much for coming to Colorado Law. I'm so lucky, you know, I was remarking tonight that Colorado's law community, I call it 2 degrees of separation. And tonight's evident in that because I consider both the 2 awards I get to give out tonight to going to dear friends of mine. The first is Jen Evans, who I've known for many years, her and her husband J.W. Postal. She's, of course, managing partner at Postinelli and is receiving, well-deserved, long overdue, the award for private practice. So let's watch the award about the video about Jennifer Evans.
Jennifer is a wonderfully kind-hearted and ethical human being who is always looking out not only for the interests of her clients, but of society as a whole.
I've had the privilege of working with Jen on a lot of issues, and it is always about how do we do good for people? How do we get a good answer for our client and also find a way to make some other progress for the system as a whole?
Jennifer is a very accomplished attorney with very detailed, specific expertise. She has that knowledge, but she also is able to apply it in a very practical way.
Really, I'm a healthcare person, and I am lucky enough to get to practice healthcare law at one of the best healthcare law firms in the country. The people that we work with are motivated by such terrific, intrinsic, positive things. Nobody puts themselves through medical school or through business school and decides to be in healthcare who doesn't have some sort of intrinsic goal of trying to take care of people.
I think the thing that says the most about Jen is, yes, she works in private practice and she works at a big law firm, but her heart is for the safety net, for the Medicaid program, for the way that indigent folks are able to receive healthcare services and benefits, and everything that she does has that lens to it.
Access to healthcare is access to prosperity, it's access to education, it's access to our future.
I think the thing that makes her a really great lawyer is her ability to balance not only the needs of her client, but also what's right. She's always driven by what's best for the community and for individuals.
I'm very fortunate to have not only great colleagues around me, which sustain me, entertain me, make me smarter, make me a better human and a better lawyer. And I also have a wonderful family and community that do the same.
Hey, Jen. I couldn't be more happy that you and Polsinelli serve as our counsel, but more importantly, that you're such a great friend and mentor to me.
Thank you for 10 plus years of taking a chance on a brand new summer associate. It has been an absolute privilege to learn from you, to work for you, to get to work with you now as your partner. Congratulations on this award. You deserve it.
Oh, wait, I think we're supposed to get people. Okay. I'll hold this. You talk.
Thank you. Wow, so I'm honored and a little overwhelmed to receive this recognition from the Alumni Board, from the University of Colorado School of Law. That video is a lot. But in thinking about tonight, I was filled with gratitude for our school and so many things it's given me. So first, I want to thank you to CU Law for training me and so many of my wonderful Polsinelli colleagues, not just my CU colleagues, but the CU alums on our healthcare team who I get to work with every day. You saw Ryan Thurber, who is a shareholder and a very good one. Kathleen Snow Sutton, they teach health law at our school.
Richard Murray, who serves on the alumni board, and Clement Asante, who gets to come tonight. He's only a 2022 grad, and he's mostly on the Polsinelli IP team, but he is snuck in, and we are pulling him into the healthcare team, and he totally helped me out this week, so thank you, Clement. I want to thank my friends and family who are here, including my sister, my brother, my sweet husband, J.W. Postal, and my wonderful daddy, who was one of my first teachers. Sitting on the chairlift together, he taught me to sing intervals and practice spelling and how to distinguish the different varieties of evergreen trees by the way that snow sits on the branches. And the ski hill was a great study hall, and my parents were great teachers. They taught me how to learn, how to prepare, how to practice, how to persevere, and how to love family, which led me to more gratitude for CU Law, because it was during CU Law School when JW and I started our family. Many folks in the class of '98 are here, and y'all remember how family-friendly that place was. I think our class of about 130 plus students, I think we had 10 babies during law school in our class, maybe more, including JW and me. Our eldest was born second semester, third year, and it felt totally fine. It was like encouraged. So after seeing my classmates with their families, I thought it would be easier to have a baby in my last semester of law school than as a new lawyer. And on the few days when my mom or JW couldn't come and stay with Carly when I went to class, I took her with me. And administrative law was taught by then Dean Bruff, and if he objected to me occasionally bringing a newborn to class, he completely kept it to himself. It was sweet. I was sleep deprived, but I'm sure I remember bringing her to class asleep in her little car seat, and then if she woke up and started making baby noise, I would just stand up in the stairwell at Fleming and kind of hold her while Dean Bruff just carried on with class. So if any of you were in that class and distracted, I apologize. But I also want to thank CU Law for helping me when I've had career distress. I had pretty fulfilling work before law school, and an unexpected curveball left me wanting to leave my job in a hurry without a plan. I had applied to law school a bunch of months before, but I did not have serious intent about it. And when my acceptance letter from CU arrived shortly after the curveball, I shouted upstairs to JW, I was like, honey, we have a plan. And it's been a great one. Also recently on a day when I'd kind of had enough of practicing law, being a lawyer, dealing with other lawyers, I got a call from a colleague, and he said, Jen, I need to tell you something confidential. I want you to hear it from me, but you can't tell anyone else for a few days. And I thought, I froze. I was like, oh no, I'm waiting for him to tell me he's gonna leave our firm, leave our team. But he wasn't. Richard was calling me to tell me to plan for tonight and to say congratulations. And he promised me he was not resigning. And after surviving that sort of close call, I was able to take a breath and dust myself off and prepare for the next day. So thank you to CU. I really appreciate your helpful timing when I've struggled and your encouragement to start and continue really some of the best things in my life. So finally, I want to appreciate my Polsinelli colleagues and our clients. We are so lucky to be healthcare lawyers together, serving healthcare providers who take care of people, my family, your family, people we've never met. And our clients, they do amazing work, and sometimes I get to help them. And I am just so grateful to the School of Law for giving me those tools. Finally, I want to say, you know, this place, Colorado, it's a really good place to do good. And I appreciate all of you making that so true. For the students who are here, I really encourage you to find your path and get going. Let me know if I can help. Thank you for this recognition. Thank you for letting me learn and work among all of you, especially the class of '98. Go Buffs.
Thank you, Jennifer, and congratulations again. Our next award recipient embodies in so many ways what's great about this legal community that we have here in Colorado. I've known Joe Neguse since he was 19 and helped convince him to go to CU Law. And I'm proud to say he was a diversity pledge and came to Holland & Hart as a 1L. And we were lucky enough to practice with him for a while. And some of you may or may not know, In this room, we have the youngest impeachment manager in U.S. history in Congressman Joe Neguse. And Joe, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Now that you finally have some trial experience, if you want to come back to Hone and Hart, I'd love to have you back as part of our litigation practice. In all seriousness, I have known a lot of elected officials over my years, and a lot of them change as they go up the ladder and get positions of power and fame and recognition. Joe doesn't. Joe hasn't changed. He is still the same dedicated, human, wonderful human being that he was when he was 19. And now, let's watch a video about our wonderful friend, Joe Neguse.
Congressman Neguse is probably one of my favorite human beings. He is a kind, thoughtful person who just really makes you appreciate being in his presence.
I met Joe Neguse when he was in law school, and everyone was talking about this wonderkind, and he didn't disappoint. Joe is a winning personality in the strongest sense of that word. I don't know anybody who's met Joe Neguse who doesn't love Joe Neguse.
When I first got to know Joe, I was really impressed. He was pretty young. He was a law student. Foremost in Joe's mind was doing the public's good and doing it as a public servant. Joe really exudes that and did from the very first time I met him.
You know, I knew that I wanted to get engaged in public service pretty early. My parents are immigrants. They came here from East Africa over 40 years ago. Because of the freedoms and the opportunities that we have in the United States that don't exist in a lot of places in the world, they were able to make it and really live the American dream. And they taught me and my younger sister to not take for granted those freedoms. I always felt there was an obligation for me to do my part, given the real, incredible gift that I had been given.
Public service is in his genes. Leadership is in his genes. He is the example of everything this country can and should be.
I think he loves Colorado and he loves the people that he represents. He understands that what it means to be a public servant. That's how he treats his job, and I wish there were more people like him in Congress.
He truly believes in work. He recognizes that what he does is for a reason and purpose that is far greater than him and than any of us.
The most rewarding aspect of my career has been the impact that you have on people, seeing the difference that you make in someone's life. That makes all the public service worth it, and it reminds you of why you decided to pursue this career path in the first place.
I admire so much about Joe, and part of that is because just when I think I'm getting good at something, I watch Joe in action and I go, well, I've still got a ways to go here. Joe Neguse is invariably kind. He's got a gentle nature. Beyond that, Joe Neguse is the eternal optimist.
My parents came to this country with very, very little, and to have their son, one generation removed, be elected to the United States Congress, I think it's a testament to everything that is great about our country. And so for me, how can I not be an optimist?
We live in a pretty difficult time, I would say, pretty polarized. Joe, I think, does for Colorado something that we badly need in this time of polarization, and that's he thinks about how to bring people together. Joe is very much a person who's a uniter.
Joe has some magic about bringing people together that don't see eye to eye. It's respect for the people he's working with, the people he's trying to help. That's the epitome of a great public servant.
There's no shortage of challenges that we face, but there's also, in my view, the innate ability of us collectively to solve every challenge that we face collectively if we're just willing to kind of muster the political will to do it.
Joe deserves this award because he has accomplished so much in so little time. I know how much he doesn't like getting recognized at times. It's usually those folks that work so hard that deserve the recognition that tend to shy away from it.
Hi, Joe. Congratulations on this award. As a fellow alum from the University of Colorado School of Law, I could not be prouder of you.
Joe, congratulations on this award. I am proud to serve beside you in Congress. I admire so much what you've done in Congress and what you do for Colorado.
Congressman Neguse, it is one of my sincerest honors to call you my former boss and my friend. You have accomplished so much, and I know there's so much more ahead for you, and I look forward to seeing all of the things that you're going to accomplish for your district, for the state of Colorado, and for our country. So, as you always used to say, onwards.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much, Michael, for your very warm, kind remarks. I am at a loss of words, which for many of you who know me, that's a rarity. So watching that video, it's just, very, very humbling. It's great to be here among friends. It's great to be back in Colorado, as I'm sure many of you know. When you're in Congress, you spend a lot of time in Washington, which they don't tell you when you run for Congress that that's the case, although I suppose it's self-evident, and I should have known that when I was running. But this is a really humbling honor for me, and of any recognition that I've received, this certainly means the most. And it's born from the realities of both the recognition that it's from my own colleagues and also the distinguished legacy of so many folks who are being honored tonight, folks like Judge Quick and many others whom you'll hear from, and the folks who've been honored in the past. So it's incredibly humbling for me, and just want to know, to convey to the dean, to the chair of the Law Alumni Board, to the board members, how grateful I am. My wife isn't here tonight. She is watching that precocious 4-year-old that you saw on the screen there, our daughter Natalie, and we're expecting our second child in 2 months. So Andrea and Natalie are here in spirit. I spend so much time in Washington, I travel back and forth virtually every week, and so when I'm in Colorado, try to make the most of my time here, spending time with my family. And so the last weekend, just on Sunday, Andrea and Natalie and I were at the house, and we asked our daughter, said, where would you like to go? What would you like to do today? And she chose her favorite place to go, maybe favorite, second only to the Bounce Castle trampoline place in Boulder. But her second favorite place is the campus at CU. And she loves it. She loves the wide open spaces. She loves, the grassy parks, these incredible historic, unique buildings. She's not old enough yet to quite understand what the university means, what it means to me and to my wife, who is an undergrad alum at CU, or I suspect to all of us in this room. And I cannot wait until she's old enough that I can explain what the university means to me and the impact that the law school and the school in general has had on my life. The incredible mentorships, the people, the law school professors and others who mentored me, people like Michael Kerrigan, the late, great Dean David Getches, who convinced me, along with Michael, to go to CU Law, and who had an incredible impact on my career and the career of many others who are here today. Lifelong friendships from my classmates from the class of 2009. I'm deeply disappointed that the vice president of my class, Michael Frederigill, didn't wear a tie tonight, and I had the highest of hopes, but you can't win them all. Honestly, the law school has had an indelible impact on me. I certainly wouldn't be in the United States Congress but for the many partnerships and friendships that I've been able to build along the way. So I am eternally grateful and privileged to be able to serve in this role, and will be a champion for the law school long after I've left public service. Go Buffs. Thank you.
All right. Caitlin, are you up? Yes. I'm going to welcome back our chair-elect and banquet chair, Caitlin McHugh.
All right, it is my distinct honor to give the next 2 awards. First, I'd like to present the award for Distinguished Achievement in Public Service, and this goes to Betty Nordwind, class of 1971. Let's roll the video.
Betty has a way of bringing out the best in people. She's a tenacious advocate for equal justice, and she has one of the strongest moral compasses of anybody I know.
She's a truly consistent
honest and true to herself person. What you see is what you get. I say this with a sense of hesitation because I don't think she would talk about it this way. Her impact as a driving force in this community, legal and otherwise, has been as impactful, I think, as any mayor or council person, because it's been consistent and nonstop. I mean, nonstop for 30-some years.
I decided to go to law school very late. In my senior year of college, I was planning on going into social work. I started looking for jobs in my senior year, and it didn't seem to have enough substance, and I applied to CU. And I liked the school right from the start. It was an open, friendly place. I think my class was about 150 people, and I'm pretty sure there were 10 women. And, you know, overall, I think I got a really good, solid education there, which one does appreciate as one goes on. I had good friends in California, and a friend of mine sent me a job announcement that included the Harriet Buey Center.
The center provides a voice for the voiceless with some of the most important life-changing problems, and a lot of these people would be lost without the center's help. It can be domestic violence, it can be custody issues, keeping children with the parent. Betty has as thorough a knowledge of family law issues as anybody in this city.
And her legacy is really about having taken the complex, complicated legal structure and integrated that into the betterment of the community to the tune of hundreds of thousands of people.
I think it's a tremendous impact that Betty has left by her years at the Buey Center, influencing legislation, influencing statewide rules of court that make things easier for very low-income people to access the courts. It's stuff that doesn't make headlines, but it's very real and important.
It's nice to be in a position to look back and say, not only I don't have any regrets, and I'm kind of proud of what I did, attributable to a good, solid legal education.
Betty is probably very embarrassed by the award, but I also think she's grateful for the recognition of people in her position doing pro bono work.
It's hard for me to understand getting accolade, really it is, because I'm just doing what I like to do. Some people like securities litigation, some people like business litigation. I just happen to like public interest. And to that extent, you know, if you have to be held up as a role model, it's okay.
What an honor to be able to present you with this award.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to just lower this a little. I feel like I don't know what I can say that the past three people have not already said so well. I do want to thank you for the honor, which has great meaning to me for the role that CU Law School has played in my life. And as several people have already said, receiving notice of the award makes you start thinking about the effect of the law school on your life. Again, with great gratitude, I thank the law school for the very affordable education that I had. I want to thank the Alumni Association. I want to thank my dear friend who's in the back, table 45, Gary Bloom, who was my fellow classmate and nominated me, and I'm sure really advocated for my award. And I want to thank all my friends and family who are here tonight, either in person or in spirit, for supporting me and my career all these years. I used to laugh and say that for the first 25 of my now 52 years, my friends would say, "Are you still doing that legal aid stuff?" And then they stopped. At about year 26, they said, okay, this is what she's going to be doing. I realized that you were going to see this video, and I hadn't seen it, and I'm not going to repeat some of the remarks that I made in it about the law school, which I transferred to in my second year, but it was both a combination of both very friendly, informal, but high standards, and that was conveyed in a very nice way. The professors at the time I was there, some of whom I'm going to mention in a moment, clearly enjoyed teaching and being at the law school. My strongest memory is my experience at legal aid at the law school with my great mentors, Frank Dabowski and Bill Cohn. I hope some of you know who I'm talking about because it was a long time ago. They really introduced me to legal aid, which later, of course, has shaped my career since then. I also received advice from 3 professors, which again, I have thought about many, many times over the years. The first of which is a little off color, so if you do not like off color, close your ears. The first person was Doug Parker. He taught civil procedure, and I had to take it because I had come from Pennsylvania, which was on some weird system. He said, and I quote, and I remember this because it was off color, he said, "Read the fucking code." Okay? Now, over the years, truly, I have remembered that because there are a lot of lawyers who don't read the fucking code. Okay? The second... Okay. The second person was also referred to this evening was Nort Steuben. I was in tax class. Why I was taking tax, we don't know. But he said, if I can remember, he said, better that the IRS, that you have the money and the IRS is trying to get it, than they have your money and you are trying to get it back. Now, the reason I thought that was an important message, honestly, these things have really stuck with me, was because he was really saying be strategic. Think about things strategically. And that has really stuck with me. And I've used that expression many a time. The third person was a 1-credit course that Gary and I took together, taught by a psychiatrist whose name is Rand Scalar. And he said, knock, knock, they forgot to tell you you're dealing with people. And I thought that was really good advice, which being in family law has been really helpful. To just conclude my remarks, it is true, I have truly enjoyed my career in public interest, which is why it seems weird to be giving me an award, because if you're doing what you like, you don't really need an award. But I do want to speak to all the law students in the room and say that my career, which is 52 years now, has been extraordinarily, I don't know the words, fruitful, meaningful, and although I know your sacrifices are much more now because law school is not $3,000 when I went, but at least $30,000. I would encourage you to continue on your path in public interest. I know I saw many wonderful things out in the hallways with the Innocence Project and the Family Law Project and the American Indian Project. So I would encourage you to continue on the path because it's nice to stand up here and feel fulfilled after 52 years. As I said to our dean, I'm glad CU is increasingly developing programs focused on addressing real problems in the world like social justice, racial disparities. I think if you're a lawyer, you understand what great power we have and what ability we have to solve problems. I encourage you all in one way or another to participate either by volunteering, being a public interest lawyer, or donating to a good cause. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. And the second and final award I will be giving tonight is, let me get to the title right, excuse me, is the Distinguished Achievement in Judiciary Award. I'm so thrilled for you to see this video about the Honorable Donald S. Quick.
I've known Don since the late 90s. I've known him as a friend, as a work colleague, as a supervisor. You know, he's sharp as a whip. He's got a work ethic that's incredible. He's got a moral compass that really doesn't veer. He knows the right thing to do, and he'll find the way to do it.
When you look at Don's career, he's worked at the local level as a district attorney. He's worked at the state level. Don has been a judge. Don has been an advisor to other people who are serving. He's been a mentor. Don's commitment to making our state better than he found it, it's extraordinary. We need more people like Don Quick.
The first thing that you're going to notice is that he is phenomenally kind. He's also incredibly funny. And one of the things I liked most immediately about Don was he was incredibly curious, and that he was smart enough to be comfortable enough to talk about and to ask questions about the things that he wasn't certain about.
My name is Don Quick. I wanted to be a trial lawyer while I read To Kill a Mockingbird, and that's what I thought lawyers did, and I wanted to do trial work. What I learned was if you wanted to really do trial work, you should start off at the DA's office or the public defender's office. So I chose the DA's office, and I thought I'd do 3 or 4 years of trial work and go back into private practice. But what I learned there was that I had a real passion for helping the folks that were part of our cases. That really was a change for me to say, this is a passion that I'd like to do this for the rest of my life.
If you go into Don's office, behind his desk, he has 2 pictures. And one picture is Boulder, University of Colorado with the Flatiron Spine. The other picture is Atticus Finch from the movie To Kill a Mockingbird. I like to think that the reason he has that image in his office is because that picture is a reminder to Don that he's always got that obligation to make sure that justice occurs. I mean, you won't find an alumnus more deserving in terms of his public service or more loving of this university.
Don, I'm just delighted that you're receiving this award. I think you play such an important role in our community, in the courtroom, outside of the courtroom, as a chief judge. And I just want to thank you for all that you have done for our communities and for Colorado.
Don, it's great for you to be honored by the law school because we love you. You're a great part of this community. You've given so much to us. We're proud of you. Congratulations.
Judge Quick, congratulations.
Are we supposed to do the photo now, Kate?
Thank you all very much. I'm not sure I'm deserving, but my name's already engraved on the award, so you can't give it to someone else, so I'm going to keep it. Tonight has a real meaning to me for a couple of reasons. First of all, it came from where it all started for me. When I did the math, it was actually 40 years ago this fall that I walked through the doors of the law school. I was wide-eyed, and I just wanted to make a difference in the people's lives that I served as an attorney. Another reason why it's important to me is the people that I'm receiving the award with. The honorees tonight are terrific people that looked at law as a way of making the community better, the state better, and individual people that aren't always recognized, but sometimes the individuals are the ones that you change the world for. And so I'm very honored to be with the 5 other honorees tonight. I want to thank my nominees that did it. It was all started by Jill White with the university, and she got a hold of my wife and some classmates, and they're the ones that pushed the nomination. And I was surprised. It made me wonder what other secrets that Carrie has kept from me over the last 39 years. But mostly I was pleasantly surprised. And I want to thank the Alumni Board, Michael Kerrigan and the other members of the board. I know a number of them for many years, and yet they were able to push that knowledge aside and still grant me the award tonight. So thank you. I think it's a really terrific night. Joe Neguse was kind enough to mention me. The last time we shared a stage, it was election night in 2014, and we both lost statewide races. So tonight's a lot better night than that was, Joe. From where you sit tonight, you look up on the stage and you see me alone. But from where I stand, the stage is full. It's full of all the people that helped me get here and all the people that helped me along my journey. To the left are the professionals that helped me. When I started in private practice, it was people like Pete Wall, class of '63, and Mike Beatty, who instilled in me the sense that there is a high, both professional and ethical standard that attorneys have to live up to every day. And then when I went from private practice into public service at the DA's office and the AG's office, it was Bob Grant and Ken Salazar. And what I learned is that when you're in public service, you have additional obligations and additional responsibilities. And the bottom line one that's non-negotiable is you do the right thing for the right reasons every day. And next to those guys are the men and women that are the staff and the probation officers and the bar, the bench, up in the 17th Judicial District. It's an honor to be their chief. And next to them is Chief Justice Boatwright and the Supreme Court members. I want to tell you that I have a front row seat, and they lead our Judiciary Department with honor and with thoughtfulness and with ethics every day. On this side of the stage for me is my family. Joe talked about his a little bit. My grandparents came over from Ireland when they were 19 and they got married. And that was 1929 and the Depression hit. A few years later, my mom was born, and shortly after that, my grandfather was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And back then, they didn't have any medications, and so it progressed very fast. And so my mom grew up coming home from school and taking care of my grandfather from 3 on, because my grandmother went to work at a bakery from 3:30 to 11:30. And then she would take care of my grandfather until my mother got home from school the next day. And I'm very proud of that and very proud of where I come from. And it teaches me perseverance. If I get knocked down like the 2014 election, that was nothing compared to what they had to live with every day. And so I think perseverance is a very understated attribute to have, and I got that from my family. Next to my grandparents are my parents. They stressed the importance of education. Obviously, my mother had to go work at 17, but when she came back in her 40s and the kids were in school, she went and got her college degree. And my parents ended up paying for 17 years of higher education, including getting me all the way through college without any student loans. And that's what enabled me to quit being an oil and gas lawyer and go into public service for the next 34 years. I couldn't have done that without them. And next to my parents are my boys, Tyler and Dylan. Dylan's a terrific musician. Tyler is a college professor, gets his PhD from Southern Cal here in a month. They've been nothing but supportive, and they've had to go to more chicken dinners and hand out pamphlets and see me leaving on weekends and nights because I had to go to things. And they never once complained, and they were always very proud of what I did, and I'm very proud of them. And finally, at the end, is my wife, Carrie. She is the foundation and the bedrock for my family and my career. She didn't have it as easy as me. She was raised by a single mom. She had 2 older sisters that didn't go to college. She went to college. She put herself through Metro by living with her grandparents, and then she put herself through law school, and then she put herself through getting a tax LLM at that other school that rhymes with CU. I just can't remember what that is. But even after she fought as hard as she did for her education, when the boys needed more time and I was tied up in so many things, she put her career on hold. And she put her on hold for 10 years to give the boys what they needed. She was the most educated den mother and PTO president in Westminster. And I would not be anything without her. I was told I have to mention that there's a bunch of people at some table over here in the class of '86, Vermont and Johnson, and that if I didn't point them out, that they would be mean for the rest of my life. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. As you can tell me from talking tonight, I stand before you and I have a full heart and I have a full stage. And I want to tell the law students in the room and the young lawyers that if you always remember why you went to law school, what you were thinking when you were walking through the doors and what you wanted to do, and you remember that to be your compass, to be your true north, then 30, 40 years from now, you will stand on a stage and your stage will be full and your heart will be full. Thank you so much for this award.
All right, great. Before we go to our final award of the night, we're going to do something a little bit different that we haven't done before. Our alumni board, as we talk to our fellow alumni, what we hear is that they want to hear two things. One, they want to hear what's going on at the law school now, and two, they want to hear from current law students. So we're going to do both of that right now. I would like to welcome to the stage Jamil and Larissa. Welcome and thank you. Jamil and Larissa are both student leaders and are fellows in the LILAC program, the Leaders in Law and Community. And if you're not familiar with this program, this is something that Dean Anaya started, and it is a fellowship that covers the total cost of tuition and fees for the law school. Recipients have diverse identities and are poised to be transformational leaders in law and community. Once you hear from them, you'll understand exactly what that means. These students requested to share their thoughts to raise awareness and support for LILAC. I am honored to share the stage with both of them tonight. Larissa is a 2020 LILAC Fellow and a third year at Colorado Law. She has led the Latinx Law Students Association, the Council for Racial Justice and Equity, and founded the Black and Indigenous People of Color Cord Ceremony her 1L year. Jamil is a 2021 LILAC Fellow and a second year at Colorado Law. He's a co-facilitator for the Council for Racial Justice and Equity, a co-facilitator at the Corey Weiss Innocence Project Student Group, and a member of the Muslim Law Student Association. Real slackers. Thank you both for being here tonight. We can tell you've got a lot going on. We're going to go through 3 questions that I think will give you guys some insight into both their experience at CU Law and why the LILAC program is so important. Let's start with, what is your favorite or most meaningful part of Colorado Law?
Okay, this is working good. I was like slightly anxious about that, but we're solid. Well, there's definitely a few things. Definitely the faculty and the great professors we have who, you know, even beyond the 1L bar courses that you take, have kind of elevated those subjects and those topics, and also have provided mentorship in a number of different ways. But I would definitely say, for me especially, it's seeing the significant student leadership that we have. Actually, Larissa was one of my mentors. It actually continues to be one of my mentors, but I was hinging on, yeah, I was hinging on her way, like, pretty much her coattails my first year. But just seeing, especially our students who kind of assert themselves as leaders from historically underrepresented and misrepresented groups, and try, work to strive to ensure that there's change and that the law school is an empowered space. So I can definitely say being able to witness that as well as be a part of that. And it's been such a sincere honor to be a co-facilitator for the Council for Racial Justice and Equity, which is a grassroots student organization that is working to serve as a platform for our historically underrepresented and misrepresented student groups, in terms of like ensuring that their concerns and their needs are heard and by our administration and just throughout our community, and also just build a stronger sense of community. And that's been very impactful, but also being able to work with such magnificent, diverse administration, so in particular, like Dean Fernando Guzman, who not only supports a lot of the efforts of our diverse students in our affinity groups, but also has been a sincere and very meaningful mentor for me. And definitely a lot of, sorry, I know I'm droning on, and a lot of the experiential experiences, being a part of the Immigration Defense Clinic, being a volunteer for the Corey Wise Innocence Project. So there's a lot to really dive into. Sorry.
Great. No, appreciate it. Yes, I will make mine short. I just want to echo the Crim In Clinic. I think Violeta Chapin taught me how to be a lawyer, and if I have any confidence, it's come from her. So thank you, Violeta. And the Solidarity Suite opening. So this past year, CU has had their first designated space for students of color and students of underrepresented backgrounds. And it's just such a fun space where we can be ourselves, have friends, have these amazing events. And I'm just so grateful that that space exists in the law school.
Thank you. All right, second question. How has receiving the Lilac Fellowship impacted your law school experience?
I'll go ahead and start. Law school would not have been possible without Lilac. I grew up here in Colorado. My parents are from Denver. I'm from Denver, so are my siblings, and we grew up so poor. I mean, like food bank, food stamps, Section 8 housing. I know where every food bank is in Denver. Trust me, I have been to it. And I think it's just law school was not ever something I thought about until I did the Denver Urban Debate League, and then I was like, oh, I can advocate, I can be a lawyer, and that was the first time I'd ever met lawyers. And for Lilac to cover my tuition, to cover my fees, it just took off this tremendous weight because I had no savings. My mom was a single mom. She raised me, my siblings. My father was in and out of prison a lot, which I thought was pretty normal in my community. It's not normal. That was interesting to learn in 4th grade. But I just couldn't imagine being here, and Lilac made it possible, but also that the investment is continually being returned to Colorado law. All my fellow Lilac scholars are so amazing. They're running the Infinity Orgs. The Council for Racial Justice and Equity was founded by one of the Lilac scholars, and so that's amazing to know, and that my peers are just doing all these tremendous things, and so not only are we like accepting this amazing gift, but we're making sure that we're making Colorado law better.
Jamil?
Yeah. I definitely resonate with a lot with what Larissa has said. It was life-changing for me to receive that scholarship. I come from a family of immigrants who came from Ethiopia with pretty much nothing and continued to work hard at blue-collar jobs and to ensure that I could, have a fighting chance and like drive and strive to, build something and build a better life in this country. So kind of seeing that, and having that means to, one, because I knew public service was something I wanted to do, but of course, like kind of the pragmatic reality of, a lot of the tremendous amount of debt you'll incur pursuing higher education essentially serves as a barrier, and getting awarded this brought tears to my eyes because I knew, like, in large part, this barrier was kind of removed. And it also was a signal for me that Colorado law believed in me as a aspiring public servant, as a leader in my community, and as someone who really wanted to drive change and use his experiences and, and kind of drive and provide meaning to the platform that being a lawyer provides you for, especially to speak for underrepresented and misrepresented groups. So.
And final question, what do you hope your future career in law looks like?
When I was first drafting this answer, I was just going to talk about my post-grad job, but after watching the speeches, I just really want to be like Betty. So thank you. Thank you. Jamil and I are both going into public service. I'm planning on doing criminal defense and specifically Crim In defense, and we will not be making any money, but it is fine. It's true. Thank you, Betty. But I think I'm just looking forward the most to giving back to my community and using my law degree to do good.
Yeah, so this is kind of awkward. I'm hoping I'm hoping to go into actually prosecution, federal prosecution. Wow,
You're supposed to boo him. I'm just kidding.
Federal prosecution, and then I definitely aspire to join and be a part of the Department of Justice, because You know, obviously within that role, you can be a federal prosecutor, but also serve in so many different areas. And kind of, although semi-unconventional, as Luis has pointed out, I, especially working in these different spaces throughout law school so far, I've continued to recognize the fact that a lot of these offices, or even within government in general, there are not many people who reflect the background or representative of the backgrounds that I have and the communities I identify with, those being the Black and Muslim communities, and who have the experiences I have in terms of having family members, having friends who have been impacted by our justice system and impacted or stratified or underrepresented in different ways by our government. So wanting to kind of fight for change from within. You know, it's gonna be, there's definitely an uphill battle, but you know, I'm an optimist for the most part. I try to be.
Thank you both. We are so lucky to have you as part of our CU Law community, and we look forward to welcoming you into the alumni community soon. All right, so second new thing we're doing this year. You guys stay there for just a second. All right, and this is, if you hate it, you can blame me. But the way I see it is we have a room of 400 people who love CU. And we've got 2 people who just told you why fundraising for CU is so important. So I'm gonna take 1 minute and make a quick plug to ask for you to consider donating often, and donating generously. Our goal this year is to have 15% of our alumni donate. That doesn't sound crazy, but we're not there. We're at about 5%, but we can really make that go up tonight. If you look at the back of your program, there's a QR code that takes you directly to a site where you can donate to Lilac specifically, or the Dean's Fund, or the CU Law Alumni Scholarship. So again, get out those phones and be as generous as you can. Thank you guys both.
Thank you, Caitlin.
All right. Well, first of all, before I continue on, we are at the final award of our evening, but before we get into that, I just want to thank once again our wonderful, wonderful students, Larissa and Jamil. We are so really, really proud of them. I also just want to say it is wonderful and remarkable that they represent arguably two different sides of the coin. One wants to be a defender, the other wants to be a prosecutor. However, I just want to take this opportunity to say that both of those, certainly from my perspective, are justice positions. I want to say that as someone who started a career as a prosecutor and later on went on to be a criminal defense lawyer, and I have to say that I absolutely believe that it is necessary to have ethical and principled people on both sides in that courtroom. And so I am so proud to see those 2 of our students heading in those directions. It is now my pleasure to announce the recipient of the Nous Award. I want to have us go ahead and cue the video. I'm just looking at this here. Yeah, I think I want to go ahead and get that video started, and then I'll say a few words about our nominee. It is, are you ready? William Lee, the William Lee Nous Award, and my pleasure, my great pleasure, is to bestow this on Beth Crane. Let me just also say, Beth Crane gets the award for the most supporters here tonight. Woo, woo, woo! So with that, we're going to go ahead and cue the video. I'm going to, I think, go ahead and say a little bit about it now so that we can go right into the award. This award is given to an alumna or alumnus to recognize outstanding achievement and sustained service to Colorado law. There are so many of you who have been long-standing friends. This award is an honor to those people like Beth Crane who have stood as that kind of friend to us in terms of service. And also, let me share with you that Bob Nous, grandson of William Lee Nous, and his family I want to thank you for the honor of your presence this evening. Where are you? Let's give them a shout out. I think you'll agree with me when you see the video that Beth's contribution to the legal community makes her most deserving of the NALS Award. Please join me in congratulating her, and let's go ahead and cue that video now.
My grandfather, William Lee Nous, was born in Ouray, Colorado in the late 1880s. He ended up being a graduate of the University of Colorado Law School in 1911. My grandfather really was a man for Colorado, as was noted in one of the Denver newspapers. He was a man for all seasons in that, from a judicial standpoint, he served on the Colorado Supreme Court and was Chief Justice of the court. From a legislative standpoint, he was elected both to the State House of Representatives and the State Senate, and became President of the Senate, President Pro Tem. And in the executive branch, he became Governor of Colorado. We think probably the only person in the history of the United States to serve as the top office holder in all three branches of government. And in 1950, Harry Truman was President of the United States. And he offered the U.S. federal judgeship to my grandfather, and he had a tough decision to make. He was governor on one hand, very popular governor, but he loved the law on the other hand. So he did accept that appointment to the United States Federal Court, District Court, and stayed there until he died in 1959. Well, the award presented by the law school is the one the family cherishes the most. A lot of people asked him in his life, what did he prefer, the executive branch of being governor or the judicial branch and the law? And he, on balance, preferred the law. He was a true public servant.
Beth is sincere. Beth is loyal. Beth is generous. Beth stands for the things she believes in.
She has a passion for helping those most in need, but combined with a knack for turning that passion into action.
I absolutely see her as a mentor in my life, both on a personal and a professional level. She's a human to look up to.
Beth has traveled a remarkably non-traditional road to becoming a lawyer. She became pregnant with her first child at age 17 while a freshman in college. The college gave her two choices, either withdraw or be expelled. Beth withdrew from that college. She then embarked on this path of perseverance that spanned a total of 12 years.
I was married before. I was married to Alex Tejada. My husband then was going to law school at Vanderbilt Law School. The dean of the law school volunteered his wife, I guess, to teach the women who were married to the law students how to be law wives. So we were instructed on how to conduct ourselves, apparently to enhance the careers and the opportunities of our husbands. That was quite the difference. And so then I went to CU. There were no such things as law wives. And instead we had the Women's Law Caucus, which I was active in, and things changed.
Well, I guess someone who did it all and really left no part of her life unattended. She gave herself to her family and her children, gave herself to her profession.
In the courthouse there, I was in the DA's office, and a friend of mine introduced me to Alex Tejada, who was a public defender. Anyway, we began going out. He used to put on these armadillo and pig roasts. Some people will remember them.
You know, they threw some of the best parties. They were famous for cooking armadillos.
And so that was our first serious date. And we decided to move together. So we came to Durango together. And then Alex left the public defender's office, and we eventually started our own law firm of Crane and Tejada, and it's been that way since 1991. I can tell you 100% that this community is better off because Beth Crane has been here.
I think she just cares about the people. That drives everything. It's just about making something positive for someone who needs help.
She's a lawyer, and sometimes lawyer and heart don't go together immediately, but she's a lawyer with heart.
I've been very fortunate working with my husband. He was just the dearest person. I appreciated his approach to life and what he held special and valued. And then when Alex died, we just kept going. Bill had just graduated from law school, and Alex had gone to that wonderful graduation ceremony, and he was studying for the bar, and he still passed the bar. Bill went on to the public defender's office, and then he joined over here. So it was terrific. I never had to change the sign. It was always Crane and Tejada, and so it's still the same. And now he is taking over, and I'm gliding into retirement.
Anybody that knows Beth would know that. Family is huge to her. Just seeing her and Beal on a regular basis, how they interact, it's really cool. That they have a special relationship, and I know that Beth has that with her whole family.
CU should be proud of this person, should be proud of Beth Crane, should be proud to say this is one of our graduates, because this state is a better place because Beth Crane lived here and she took the skills that she learned at our university and shared them with the world. Beth, congratulations on this William Lee Nouse Award.
Beth, I'm just so grateful to have you in my life.
Congratulations on this terrific award. You have earned every single bit of it.
What makes you happy?
My children. No, the love. You have love around you. I think how fortunate we are, and I think it takes everybody working together and just pure luck, I think.
Wow. Beth Crane, come on up.
See this? First of all, thank you so much. I am so humbled and embarrassed and honored. I can't tell you how appreciative I am of this. I live in Durango, and I was, Southwest Colorado, where close to Ouray, where William Lee Nouse called home, as we've just learned. And in downtown Durango, there is a sort of a funky spa where you can get massages, but more than that, you can soak in a giant hot tub that they have made of wood. It's outside, and people enjoy the hot tub and enjoy the soaking. I was there last Sunday, sitting in the hot tub, and I was with 3 or 4 other young people in their 20s or 30s, and I noticed, you couldn't help but notice, they all have tattoos. So everybody's got tattoos nowadays. Not me, but other people do. So you got them on the shoulders, on the neck, face, arms, everything. I'm looking at, and we're chatting a little bit, I'm looking at these folks and realizing that these tattoos are symbolic of what's important to them. Excuse me, I'm crying up here. Of what's important to them, and where their passion is, where their adventures are. Maybe some mistakes in their adventures, maybe not. As I'm looking at these tattoos, I can recognize some of the designs, and some of the designs I can't recognize at all. And I realize that that's what our world is. All of you, our CU community is exactly that. Sometimes we know what people are contributing to, what they're doing, and sometimes we don't know. People are silent sometimes, and they do terrific contributions and terrific volunteerism. That's what this is all about. everyone has their own passions and their own way that they contribute. And while I appreciate the recognition that you all have given me for this award, I think many of you out here, and those sometimes not even here, deserve it as equally or even more than I do. And I can't tell you how much I value the concept of volunteerism and contribution and support to our various communities. I'd like to take a moment, that video I hadn't seen before. I wanted to pay tribute to my husband, Alex Tejada, who has passed several years ago. I'll say his tattoo, his passion was public defender. These guys up there. And he was a public defender for many years. I was in the DA's office. We met here in Denver. But his passion was fairness and equity and treating everybody equally well and pursuing the best for everyone. He did that even into private practice. He was still public defending. I was a business manager of our partnership, and he was still public defending. I'd also like to thank and give tribute to my immediate family, these wonderful children over here and these wonderful grandchildren. All 6 of them have come. I've got 4 sons, wonderful daughters-in-law, my sister and brother-in-law are here. And the grandchildren, I have to tell you, the youngest one here, Gabriel, he helped me time this speech, so I've probably gone over the 3 minutes that we've sat. And my oldest one is studying for the LSATs right now, so she'll be up here soon. I'd also like to pay homage to a couple of different classes from the law school. One is part of my extended family, the CU class of 2012, and they're all over here someplace. Woo! And then my class of 1979, and I'm going to embarrass some of them because they embody the volunteerism that we're talking about. And they are significant because you may not know what they do, but they, like all of you, are contributing to our communities. So we have Greg Lyman and Pat Lyman out there. Greg was on the video. You may not know this, but both of them are champion speed skaters. They were champion speed skaters. So before law school, Greg Lyman was an Olympiad representing the United States in speed skating. And during law school, Pat Lyman became world champion speed skater for women, I think. So yes, to them. And after they made those achievements, then they came to law school, and Greg and Pat contributed to the Durango community greatly. Greg going on to be our judge, now a senior judge, and I guess he's just retired as a senior judge now. The other person that I'd like to call attention to is Patricia Peterson, who's sitting back over there. She's going to be embarrassed. She was a very leading intellect in our law school class, studied the hardest of all. She went into transactional law. We're talking about different areas of the law. And now she told me last night that she is engaging in volunteer work, helping immigrants become citizens of the United States of America. So this for Pat. And Dave and Mary Stiefel are here from 1979. Dave, you all know, many of you know, he was head of the Law Alumni Board for some few years ago, and he's a very active alumni. Mary Stiefel was one of my rocks in law school, and she became a professor, teacher at law school, not our law school, but that other one that we said was rhymed with CU, so she's been at DU for many years, and I appreciate all the work that she has done in helping students and helping our communities. The point of all this is what I'm trying to say. Oh no, wait, I've got to talk about my friends who came from Durango, who are also volunteers. So I've got 3 friends here who came up to enjoy this with me. One has contributed to Fort Lewis College down there in Durango, Colorado. The other, for instance, has done volunteer work in adaptive sports. And that lovely lady, Julie, heard she volunteered to run for and won as county commissioner down there in Colorado, in La Plata County, and she served 2 terms. So that kind of work we all need to do. The point I'm trying to make here is I see this award as 1, longevity, thank you, and 2, volunteerism. I've had the pleasure of volunteering in many capacities, helping our legal system, I hope, helping individuals, I hope. And I just want to leave this little final word for all of you, and I know you know this, to cherish the opportunities you have to volunteer, to participate in your community, to engage in your community, in your own community, whatever it is, your spiritual community, your legal community, your family community, and those communities that we're not comfortable with. We all need to reach out to our other communities and engage in them too, to strengthen all of us and all of our communities. And thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. Have a good evening. Thank you. Oops. Oh, I've got to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. That was wonderful. And we really are getting very much close to the end of our evening. I am going to invite back up Michael Kerrigan, who's going to give us a few words of closing.
Thank you, Beth, and wonderful to see all those beautiful pictures of Durango, wasn't it? So before we close out tonight, I want to going to read out our gold sponsors and also the people who won door prizes. So if you hear your name, please, you'll see at the bottom of the escalators are the door prizes. So please grab one if I call your name. If I don't call your name, don't grab one. So our gold sponsors, one more thing, housekeeping also, if the award winners, we tend to do a group photo. So as soon as we're done, please come up here. But in the meantime, our gold sponsors, we want to thank Armstrong and Teasdale, the business law section of the Colorado Bar Association, Chiat and Danzo, Cheney, Galuzzi and Howard, Gebhardt, Emerson, Moody and Bono, Gibson, Dunn and Crutcher, Magram and Daxam, Moy White, Otten, Johnson, Robinson, Neff and Ragadetti, Sheridan Ross, and Welburn, Sullivan, Meck and Tooley. Thank you so much. And our door prize winners, Mia Boggs, class of 22, Emily Ibarra, 2L, Randy Akata, bad handwriting, A.V. Lowenstein, Avi Lowenstein, Cynthia Sanchez, Gabrielle Tejeda, Kevin Brown, Mary Stifel, Keith Tooley, Josh Kruger, and Colleen Robinson. Congratulations to all of you. We are hosting a dessert reception in the back room. Please hang out, talk to your friends, and we can't wait to see the award winners up here, and we can't wait to see all of you again next year. Have a great St. Patrick's Day.